Well,
for Malik Jaziri, this is his first competitive match since October. And you can see why Paul Feller's got a nasty knee injury. And when you have been out for, what, 4 months, it's not exactly the way you would want to start against Roger Federer.
no, not at all. But having said that, to be, you know, with a home-ish crowd on your side, I mean, wherever Roger Federer plays, he usually pretty much is like the home favourite, isn't he, wherever he plays. But, you know, I think it's a real honour to go out there on court. I'm sure he views it as that way, and he will absolutely relish this chance to play against one of the greatest of all time.
There's the man who thought of the idea of having a tennis tournament here in Dubai 21 years ago. Colin McLaughlin, the executive vice chairman. Alison Lang is the umpire for this match. She was here last week for the women's event.
Heads?
Jaziri calls heads.
It's heads. You'll receive? Okay.
Roger chooses the royal box end. Well, he's almost royalty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just interesting, though, because there's no sunshine out here. Well, he obviously has a favourite side, Roger Federer, having chosen to serve down at the royal box end. But here's confirmation then. This is a first-round match between the #2 seed, Roger Federer, and the wild-card local favourite, Malik Jaziri. Well, as we know, this is a very strong draw here in Dubai this week, as it always is. Here's the section that Roger Federer is in then. In this section, the #6 seed, Janko Tipsarevic, will play Nikolai Davydenko. Hanesco will play against Tomic, who's had some great form this year. One down in Australia, and of course one of the few players who've had a win over Novak Djokovic in the Hopman Cup. Granollers and Montañas will await, well, the winner of that one will await the winner of Federer and Malik. Well, what an opportunity this is for Jaziri. Absolutely fantastic to be out on this court with a 17 Grand Slam champion. 29 years of age, no career titles to his name, but has amassed $387,000 in his career. 128 in the world at the moment. Of course, he was a lot higher than that, though. Almost half that at 69 in the world. That was back in July. This is his first tour event since October, where, of course, he reached the semi-finals in Moscow, had a win over Ram, then Viktor Troitsky, also beat Lucas Russell, a man very famous to have had that win over Rafael Nadal before losing to Andreas Seppi. His best results last year came on the Challenger circuit, reached 3 finals. It was back in France and Quimper, and then in Kyoto. Also a semi-finalist on the clay courts in April. Reached the second rounds at the French Open last year, and he also took part in the Olympic Games. It's only the 3rd time he'll have played against a top 10 player. First meeting was against the world #8, Mardy Fish. That was at the US Open. He's also had a match against Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, the then world #6. That was in Doha. So this is only the 3rd time he's been up against such a caliber of player. Well, of course, Roger Federer really does need no introduction. 31 years of age, though, now. Currently ranked at #2 in the world. Look at that prize money, $76 million. But he held that #1 ranking for a total of 302 weeks. He made no bones about it, that was one of the ambitions for 2012. He wanted to break Pete Sampras' record of 286, and he did that on July the 16th. After taking that record 7th Wimbledon title where he beat Andy Murray in the final. Well, there's the Emirates ATP rankings year-end finishes for Roger Federer. So he's fluctuated between 1 and 3 over a number of years now. Winner here in 03, 04, 05 and 07. It's his 10th appearance. And of course he is defending the title.
Which he also won against Andy Murray last year, after Andy had beaten Novak Djokovic in the final. Still a breezy evening, as you can see from those flags. Not surprisingly, these two men have inherited or occupy different parts of the tennis planet up till now. But Alison Lang from Newcastle in the northeast of England, who was with us for the Ladies' Week, took charge of the women's doubles final, still with us. In a way, although he would have liked an easier match on his return to the tour, I'm sure Malik is thrilled, because if he does nothing else in his career, and I'm sure he will, you'll be able to say, I played Roger Federer.
Well, that's what I think. I think it's a huge honour. It's a very special moment for him, particularly where we're playing this match. And I think it's a chance for him to really go for some big swings and really have fun out here and see how he can test himself out against someone who's arguably the greatest in the game.
On the left there, Abdul Rahman Falignaz, the Vice President of Tennis Emirates, who of course run tennis in this part of the world. He's giving a very interesting interview to the local papers, saying how he wants to set up a little tennis centre for the kids. They've got some very good 14 and unders. They've been doing very well in Asian tournaments, Gulf Cooperation Council tournaments for the nations in this part of the world.
Well, I think yesterday when they did those round table sort of interviews with all the top players, Roger made it very clear he was not going to be underestimating his opponent out here tonight. He knows very little about him, has never played him. He said, I won't be used to the patterns that he can produce on a tennis court. So, you know, you're always a little bit jittery and nervous at the start of an event, and particularly in the first round, you're at your most vulnerable as a top name at the start of a tournament. So, yeah, and of course he lost that match, didn't he, in Rotterdam to Julian Benneteau, who sort of serve volleyed and attacked him and messed up his rhythm.
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago in the quarterfinals in Rotterdam. And his other defeat this year to Andy Murray in 5 sets in the semi-finals of the Australian Open. Well, if you can't get a seat inside the stadium, and the tickets were sold out weeks and weeks ago, you can always have a nice meal outside, and we've got some giant screens outside as well. And many people will be turning their attentions to this match. Roger Federer then to get his 2013 Dubai Duty Free Championship campaign underway, serving to Malik Jaziri of Tunisia.
Oh, what a start. Well, that's fairly intimidating. He's certainly never one to hold back, is he, Roger Federer? No matter who he's up against, no matter how jittery he might be feeling. Is he going to challenge?
He's a reluctant challenger, isn't he? But he is going to challenge.
Oh, I think
he's not the greatest fan of Walker. I don't know why. That's something I disagree with him on.
Oh my goodness, that was well inside.
Yes, I'm not sure how that was called out, but there we are. Everyone's a little nervous when the maestro's in town.
Must be wondering why that wasn't overruled.
Little start, couple of aces, a serve and volley, a big forehand winner. Let's change ends.
Well, I don't think starts come much better than that, do they? I think no sign of any nerves whatsoever in that first game. I think he was fooling everyone at that press conference yesterday. Certainly come out swinging and firing out of all cylinders. A serve volley thrown in for good measure as well. Almost casual the way he played that volley. Punched it into the open space. I'm sure he's feeling a little bit nervous.
Yes. You want a good opening service game. Spent some time training in Barcelona, did Malik. I noticed he was already flexing that left knee. Oh, now that last shot of his, which was called out, wasn't out.
Well, he looked up at her, didn't he? He was looking for sort of confirmation and trusting her judgment. I think they might need to make their own.
You never trust an umpire. For those who think that's a little insulting, I was one for 11 years.
Yeah, well, I definitely wouldn't trust you.
Ouch!
Only kidding.
There's nothing like a good bit of feisty contretemps in the commentary box. A generous hand as Jaziri wins his first point. Well, flashing glasses are loud in the crowd, wouldn't they be distracting?
I don't know, it might miss, maybe. That was a nervous forehand, wasn't it? De-accelerated onto that one. Everything gets a little bit exaggerated when you're nervous, and your movement gets affected as well.
That's a good second serve. Caught Federer a little bit by surprise, so saves the first of the break points. Severin Luthi on the right there. He's Switzerland's Davis Cup captain and often travels with Roger when his top coach, his main coach, Paul Annacone, is not around.
Sends a good message, doesn't it, down the other end of the court, that he's not just happy to be, or content to just put the ball back into play, trying to do something with it there, trying to get Roger Federer off balance. Just choosing the shinier ball out here as well, just to try and get a little bit of extra something on his serve. And he did. Demeanour is very relaxed out here, isn't it?
Yeah, good serve, 202 Ks. That's 126 miles an hour. No applause there from the Federer camp.
Well, that's a great feeling, isn't it? Getting yourself up on the scoreboard, just loosening up the shoulders and shaking out any sort of butterflies inside. pace there of Federer, nearly made an outright winner.
Now an overall from Alison Lang. And certainly that overall was wrong. The serve was right. Hawkeye's able to whisper in our ear, you see.
Well, that's a couple of errors she's made already in this match.
She may be feeling as I once felt the first time I ever up John McEnroe at Wimbledon.
Under pressure.
A little nervous. Great return. Well, that was back at Federer's feet before he completed the service motion.
Well, he really saw that one early, didn't he? Great preparation, got the ball out in front.
Growing in confidence, Jaziri. The excellent second serve right into the corner from Federer. So the first 3 games go with serve, and Federer leads 2-1. I've never seen him play before. He obviously, most of his results have been on the Challenger Tour, but he had a big breakthrough last year, first tour semi-final, ATP Tour semi-final in Moscow, but he looks neat and compact.
He does, and got a very nice sort of relaxed demeanour about him, not stressed at all. He's really free swinging from the back of the court, and clearly he possesses pretty big beefy serve as well. And not afraid to take some swings out here, as you would expect, because there's no point when you're going to go up against Roger Federer. You've got to take some risks and see whether you can you know, make something happen out here. You're going to try and take the ball as early as you can and be aggressive, because you know that he is going to be extremely aggressive against you. His serve is so phenomenal in every department, Federer. You're not going to get too many opportunities, so take every single one that's presented.
Game's going with serve so far. Booty.
A touch short, that second serve, wasn't it? Enabling Federer to really step in and hammer that return. And clearly Federer looking to attack all the time out here.
Much bigger, better second serve that time. What a linguist is Malik. Spanish, French, English, in addition to Arabic.
We talked about how sort of low these slice backhands are staying on this court. It's a fairly quick court. A lot of the players have said it's not quite as quick as it was last year, but it's quicker than the general courts that the players play on throughout the year. And that's definitely going to suit somebody like Roger Federer.
Yes, it certainly takes spin. The court's relaid, repainted every year. And the speed of the court is affected by how much sand is put in the mix of the concrete. Well, surprising error, that one from Federer, just trying to float the backhand down the line. Wasn't a great deal on that second serve, it was only 124, perhaps it took him by surprise.
We don't see that very often from Federer, but when he's relaxed and fairly confident, as he clearly is at the start of this match, chip and charge, forcing the error out of his opponent.
And setting up another break point. 2 saved in Jaziri's previous service game. He's struggling with his first serve. 23%.
It's feeling a little bit laboured, this service game, isn't it? I think because he hasn't had enough first serves into play. Well, I think he feels if Roger's going to attack him, he might as well just get in there before he's attacked.
Wonderful. Great point. And a fabulous pass at the end of it.
Well, that was a breathtaking shot, wasn't it? Because this is a good volley from Roger Federer, and he has to change direction, backpedal across the court, managed to get balanced on that, and a lovely use of that left hand to get that racket head turning over the ball. Well, that should give him some confidence.
You can't get a better second serve than that. That must have been right through the line.
I think this is the problem when you're up against Roger Federer, is he seems to just race through his service games. Just free, quick points. It's really difficult to get involved.
Yep, that's another love service game for Federer. He's dropped just 2 points on serve so far. And the second set is 3-2. I suppose, Annabelle, we could call Federer's outfit shades of grey, but then I really can't see any connections between the classicist that is Roger Federer and the chick-lit books that make up that trilogy.
Which I believe you haven't read.
I certainly haven't read, no.
Ah, you're missing out on something.
I'll ask for further and better particulars later. One of the great classicists, isn't he? In every respect.
He really is. I mean, you know, I will never tire of watching him play, and I think he's someone that we just have to keep enjoying him while he's out there. We don't know how long he will continue to play for, but I always say to people, if you haven't seen him play live, get yourself a ticket and get out there and go and watch, because it is special.
Lovely to see this stadium, which holds just over 5,000. Very, very full on the first night. But why wouldn't it be when you've got Roger Federer against the top Arabic player? 2-3. First ace for Jaziri.
First serve is getting bigger, isn't it?
When he's got it in, Jaziri, he's winning 71% of the points behind it. So there's a clear sign. Get a lot of those in. Keeping a lovely length as well off the ground.
14-13.
I think more errors have definitely come out of that forehand side, haven't they? It appears to be more erratic and less stable off that forehand wing than the backhand, but Roger seems to be playing more to the backhand side.
Just wide. And so Jaziri continues to stay with the master. 3-all in the first set.
Well, I think he's looking really composed out here. He's doing well. He's hanging on to his service game, staying in touch. So now just got to get an inroad into these service games of Roger Federer, which seem to have gone by in about a minute and a half. Just got such a range of serves, hasn't he? Just call upon anyone at any given time. Always off the same toss, very difficult to read. Constantly guessing.
Still only managed to win 2 points against the Federer serve in the match. It is a third love service game for Federer. And he's once again ahead. 4-3. You had your great friend Darcy Bustle, the prima ballerina, here last week. She must be an admirer of Federer's footwork, because that's one of the things, he moves so well.
Yeah, I think she's a huge fan of Roger Federer. It's hard not to be, because he has often been compared to ballet dancers, hasn't he? Just because he's got such a graceful sort of movement around the court, and very light on his feet and very balanced all the time. Very difficult to get Roger Federer off balance, actually. You know, I think that's one of his greatest strengths. Malak certainly not disgracing himself in any stretch of the imagination out here. He's really holding his own.
Seven games completed, no breaks so far, and new balls.
Seeing him serve like this, you have to now think, well, had he come out and started the match serving like this, why did he choose to receive? Because he's constantly chasing the scoreline.
Yeah, he's now into a nice service rhythm. Service percentage at one stage was down at 23, so already up to 42 and rising.
Well, he's apologising. I'm not sure what for, because it was an incredible forehand. I guess he felt he didn't quite hit it cleanly, but serve at the body of Roger, got the short reply. Really taking the ball on. Whoa. Yeah, that's definitely the side that's a bit more vulnerable.
Often is, isn't it? It's normally the weapon, because you can hit the forehand that much harder, but the mechanics of a forehand do mean it's often more likely to break down. Throwing a short second serve to the Federer forehand, you're in trouble.
kilometres an hour, that last serve. He hardly looks like he's broken sweat out here, actually.
On the right there, Brad Druitt, the president and executive chairman, sitting next to Sada Talak of the ATP. It's great to see Brad here because he's recently been diagnosed with motor neurone disease. We wish him all the very best against that pernicious condition. First double fault from Federer. First of the match. Makes up for that pretty quickly.
Such an uncomplicated service motion, isn't it, with Roger Federer? And it's unusual, the fact that he stands there with feet sort of fairly set and just goes straight into the knee bend. There's no bringing of the back foot up to the front foot. He just, a bit like Sampras's serve used to be. He launches up from that position with the bent legs. But it's very uncomplicated, so smooth.
Oh, very nice. Shown he can pass off both wings.
Well, it is unusual to see Federer in at the net this much, but maybe he didn't do enough with that backhand volley. You can see plenty of room there to make that, and he gives it lots of height, lots of spin. Outfoxed Federer.
Catch the line, he must have done.
Well, I might have challenged that.
No Jaziri though. Federer holds. It's 5-4. Now, was it in? Yeah. Did just catch the outside of the line. He had so much side on it. But you thought for a while it was going to swing wide. Now, you say, well, hang on, why is he changing rackets now rather than the change of the new balls? He doesn't like having a new racket to serve with comparatively new balls. He'd delay a little. So I'm impressed by this man. Yep. Got some supporters here too. Bit of extra pressure when you're serving to stay in a set, of course. Not intimidated by the chip and charge.
No, he's very balanced, isn't he? He's not panicking. He seems to have plenty of time to set up for the passing shot, and he's not overawed by it. Oh, he's doing a good job racing through his service games, to be honest.
Yeah, saving those 3 break points early on. Absolutely crucial for Jaziri.
Well, you wouldn't expect when they finally get into some sort of rally that it would be Federer that breaks down. Mixing the pace up here, Federer throwing in lots of slice backhands, but it's him that misses on the forehand.
It's a time violation. They've been told to very strictly enforce the 25 seconds this year.
Honest, I know that's probably wrong to say that, but I mean, the guy's just about to put the serve into play. And the other thing is, players don't carry stopwatches. It's actually pretty difficult to know when that, you know, counting of the seconds is up. I wouldn't have a clue.
No, there's a case for having a little clock at the side of the court.
Yeah, there is, because
resets. Then they would know, but
how would they know? They wouldn't have a clue how many seconds have gone past. You know, when the guys are about to put the serve into play and you suddenly get a warning from the umpire, it's a bit annoying.
yes. Oh, again, Jaziri holds. Staying with Federer. I bet you if you'd spoken to Malak beforehand and said, I'll offer you 5-all in the first set, he would have grabbed it.
He just looks so unfazed out here. He's got a great attitude. Just almost, looks like he feels he belongs. And yeah, he's doing really well. Is this the first time he's had Roger Federer down love 15? Must be. That looks like Malek's support camp there.
Yeah, doesn't have a regular coach who travels with him.
Made no mistake about that forehand. Underneath this ball, accelerates that racket head through. Oh, he's missed it. It's clearly something he's trying to work on more, isn't it? Getting to the net. We know that. He's been doing that over the last 12 months or more, actually. But I don't think I've ever seen him in the net quite this much, on every single opportunity and more. And a spot of bother here, though.
They were sneak close to a double fault, which would have put him breakpoint down for the first time in the match.
That was close as well. Oh.
Would you believe it? 3 goes he had at that second serve and he couldn't get it into court, and here is Jaziri with break points to leave him to serve for the set. This was not in the script. No wonder they're on their feet. Jaziri will serve for the opening set at 6-5.
Well, it's amazing what can happen out on a tennis court, isn't it? I mean, no sign of any wavering in the Roger Federer's service games until 5-all, and suddenly you drop the opening point. It gives you a different feel in that service game. That, you know, the double faults, a couple of loose shots, and all of a sudden the break's gone. And, yeah, just a sloppy game, really.
It was. And now the significance of those break points that Federer had. 2 in the first game, 1 in the first Jaziri service game, 1 in the second. You can see just how important those were.
Well, he's certainly come out here just swinging, hasn't he? I mean, I think he was a little bit jittery at the beginning of this match, but he's certainly got that serve firing. Will he be able to get enough first serves back into play in this next service game?
Well, these two will be fascinated by this. Salo Telek, the tournament director, Brad Druitt, the boss of the ATP Tour.
Thank you.
The Dennis of dead net boards. Well, huge slice of good fortune.
Well, he had Federer on the defensive, though, even before the let cord, didn't he?
To build a winning situation against a player like Federer, it's another to close it out. Federer forehand breaks down, no surprising.
Well, he's doing such a good job of keeping Federer on the back foot. I mean, even on that last rally, really pushing Federer further and further behind that baseline and earning these points and the errors from Federer.
2 set points for Jaziri, ranked 128 in the world.
Well, he's got 2 balls already in his hands, but he just wants to make absolutely sure they're the best balls he could possibly serve.
It's got to be you.
No, I don't agree with that.
Well, I know you don't agree, but that is the rule. He has to serve within 25 seconds. Well, it doesn't put him off. And Jaziri has the first set, 7-5 in 41 minutes. What a story is brewing here.
Well, this was a real shock to the system, wasn't it? Seeing him take that opening set in 41 minutes and Despite the 3 aces from Roger Federer and the first serve percentage much higher from Federer. Look at that, 38% for Jaziri, and still taking that first set, and really came about just by a sort of a lack of maybe concentration and focus at 5-all, a couple of unforced errors, and the errors flowing from that forehand side, but just feeling the pressure a little bit out here.
It certainly is now. Those break points, as we were saying, absolutely
To take that game.
a lot of people outside.
Now, you see, here's the situation, David. She's asking for the balls to come down. If you had the rule that you were just talking about from the other end, this would be Federer's fault for not having the balls down, because that's what Jaziri's point was, that the ball kids weren't giving him the balls.
Well,
And so in this situation, her argument was, well, it's up to Federer to get the balls into play in time. Well, I'm sorry, but if the ball kids haven't got the balls there,
Yeah,
then it's
the ball
not their
kids,
fault.
yeah.
And she was warning him in the last service game.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Federer responds to this situation. You obviously want to try and up the ante out here.
Well, that second serve is not firing tonight, is it? And normally it's such an exceptional second serve. It's always very deep, it has a lot of kick on it, it's very confident, and a lot of net serves as well.
He continues to amaze, does Jaziri. Super play.
Flick of the wrist there to get that lob into a very awkward position. He's under pressure here, but very balanced once again. That must have felt good. And he's in a
After that, didn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say he's in a nice position now with that sort of set under his belt. He's not going to be embarrassed off the court here against the world #2, and he can just really swing even more, which pressures Federer that much more as well.
Game, Federer. Good game, Federer.
As you mentioned, Annabelle, at his press conference yesterday, Roger was saying, I always give players respect, particularly if I've never played them before, not quite sure how they're going to play. Well, he now knows.
Well, I guess normally when you've either practiced against someone or you've played them before, you know their patterns, you know roughly how the ball is going to come to you, how it's going to feel on your strings. And really, he had no idea out here tonight. And, you know, I sense that, yes, there were a few sort of butterflies, even though he doesn't show it, Jaziri. But, you know, that serve really built throughout the course of that set, didn't it? And really got better and better. And there we were, or I was, questioning why he chose to receive first. Well, it was obviously a good decision. Another error off the forehand side.
Mistake this time. An extra top spin coming over the top of the ball.
Oh, she's eagerly looking at her stopwatch again. Well, I don't know how Federer got that previous backhand back into play. He was so on the defensive. Ball was behind him. That little one there just did something with his wrist to get that ball back into play. Sets up for the forehand pass.
So, as in Jaziri's opening service game of the first set, Federer with break points. He'll be pretty determined to take one of these. Well, that is a shame. His first double fault of the match, and he concedes a first break to Federer. And there's a temptation to say, normal service resumed. Federer will go on to win quite comfortably now. I don't think we can assume that yet.
No, but I'm sure he's quite relieved to have finally got the break under his belt. Want to keep up the pressure. Well, Malik's going to challenge that, I think. Can't be too confident because he's already walked across to the other side, but smart move.
Federer is challenging this one. I love it that they were Hawkeyes in action. Federer is right. Successive aces. That's Federer at his best, and it's a different ball game now. As Federer leads by 3 games to love. More and more people flocking into the stadium.
Well, in the blink of an eye, he's racing.
La tierra está en mí, y la hierba, y los Open. Tus colores y tu pasión también están en mí. Las victorias y las derrotas, los resultados y la gloria, el sentimiento está en mí. Si buscas toda la emoción del tenis, encuéntrala en mí. Miapuesta.es.
Desde 16.300 euros ya eres Sportage. Aprovecha el plan PIB en toda la gama Kia. Calidad con 7 años de garantía. Kia.
Ice, yeah, there's bags of ice in there. Go boy, go boy, go boy. Can you just check
Jaziri.
there's a bag of ice in the
Down
fridge?
the left three.
Bag of ice in the fridge.
It is only the one break, though. Very important for the Tunisian that he holds here. And, forces Federer to work for this second set.
Lovely.
That was the wrong shot selection, wasn't it? Slight panic there as he played that one.
Incredibly low percentage shot. That far back and falling back.
Whoops. Easily done in the night sky.
15-all.
Caught on the bounce, but not on the full.
Well, he very nearly got that back into play, Federer. That was an outstanding serve.
Hello to you too, sir.
Missed a couple of those, didn't he? Even in that opening set, which he got under his belt. But just when he's on the move and trying to transition through that mid-court area, he's just not quite giving it enough height over the net. Stayed with the ball as he's played it. That's a really nice slice, wasn't it? So much work on that ball.
Yes, as you say, he tends to struggle a little bit against the low ball, particularly mid-court. So, point for the double break for Federer here. And the double break secured. And that almost certainly will secure the second set for Federer.
Yeah, this seems to be going so quickly now, doesn't it? Just a total change of rhythm in this match. And again, Federer just continuing to attack, not holding back in any department, and got himself far more in control of things out here on centre court. They look a little bit easier as well.
Little delay here whilst we get a new set of balls. Jaziri taking the opportunity to adjust the strapping.
That looks a bit of a do-it-yourself job, doesn't it?
You'll be in trouble with the trainers, I can
No,
tell
I'm
you.
not sure if he did do it himself, but he's got that look about it. Well, he's definitely being a bit more rushed out here now.
Yeah, the second set has just taken 15 minutes. At this rate, it could be all over in 20.
Oh, that's a brilliant serve, isn't it? So much slice on that, and we're seeing that serve more and more creeping into the men's game. Djokovic using it a lot more. Andy Murray as well at the Australian Open. glancing up at some hecklers out there.
Great stuff. He has come off with some fabulous passes.
Oh, that looked like a single-handed pass to me. Could have another look at that. Oh, it was.
Much slower kicker that time, Federer, but just missing. That's just missed, and so the Federer roll continues. He has a lead of 5 games to love in the second set. Oh, they've obviously got some hospitality paid on.
I just wonder whether he's called the trainer out. Actually, I think he wants this taping retaped. It's annoying him, distracting him on the court.
Just feels uncomfortable. I suppose he can say to himself, okay, all right. Chances are this set has gone from me, but if you give me a set all at the start of the match, I'd have leapt at that. Key moments are clearly going to be right at the start of the third set now, barring something extraordinary happening.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the hardest thing is to repeat what you've just done and keep up that level of intensity if you're not used to doing it out there on the tour against sort of players more on the challenger circuit.
To exactly 1 hour of play. Jaziri serving to stay in the second set.
Love change.
Well, he made that look easy, didn't he? All the time in the world on that forehand return of serve. Trying to go at the body of Federer, but plenty of room for that one. Well, that gets the applause.
Just catching the ball on the strings.
On 95 kilometres an hour.
It's around about 120 miles an hour.
Oh, yes. That was right off the back of the line. Massive forehand. Such a clever slice, that one, isn't it? That's the one that Murray uses so effectively, where the ball spins away from the opponent. Pulls you out of position. I think he'd like to have broken here, Federer, to be able to kickstart the final set.
Yeah, that would have been perfect, wouldn't it? To be serving first in the final set and hope that you'll be ahead all the time.
Bit of a late call.
Yeah, very late. No challenge though. first juice game of this second set. We had 2 in the first. Jaziri's first 2 service games, of course, when he saved those break points.
Good boy. Can you run across and just straighten that metal pole that's in there? Just. Good boy. Good boy.
That was a shame.
Second double.
Yeah, sort of sunk down into that serve, didn't he? Go up after it. It's been pretty useful, this match, though.
Advantage, Federer.
So here's the chance then for Federer to clinch a love set. Set it is, a set that took just 23 minutes. Federer takes it 6-love to level the match after an hour and 5.
Roger. The trainer's been called.
So if we take a look at the service stats in that second set, then 47% for Roger Federer. That's fairly low for him, isn't it? 57%, that's gone up for Jaziri, but winning the points behind that service percentage, a huge difference in that second set. 88% for Federer, 42 on the first serve alone, so let alone the second serve, only won 22 percentage. Total points won, over double from Roger Federer, so a complete role reversal. Got himself back on track out here.
Roger Federer causing a few oohs and ahs with the change of his shirt, and the knee strapping has been adjusted.
Yeah, it was just taping.
Hopefully fine.
Okay.
Roger's saying, oh, I thought there was going to be an injury timeout, but no, just redoing the taping.
Final set.
And Federer is. Final set.
Second round.
Well, if we doubted the forehand in the first set, certainly firing on all cylinders in that second set, and looks to be off to a good start in this final set as well. Great preparation, open stance as he hit that, but really powerful.
It's a love game to start the final set for Federer. Well, he enough, there wasn't a love game in that second set, but this now, to me, is where the match is all about. Jaziri has to hold here.
Yeah, he absolutely has to hold here because, of course, that's where Federer made his move in that second set. And once he got that breakthrough, just steamrolled through, didn't he? And the wheels rather came off and he became a little bit ragged from the back of the court. So somehow has to create doubt, because once you create doubt, as we saw at 5-all in that first set, suddenly you might eke a few unforced errors, particularly off the forehand side from Federer. But yeah, he needs to start by really taking control of his service games once again.
Well, this is a very positive game from Jaziri to start with. Helped by the error on the first point from Federer, but Tunisian has really gone out and won the next two. Great effort.
Can you just run and pick up that piece of paper that's blowing?
There's paper on the court. Ball girls grabs it, sticks it in her pocket. Love game for Jaziri, his first of the match, and that's a real boost for him.
He doesn't strike me a bit as being someone who gets at all stressed on a court, does he? His body language and his demeanour in between points, he's so calm. He hasn't altered since the moment he walked out on court.
Now, Hawkeye can show us where Federer is directing his serve, so he's mixing them up, but very few into the body of Jaziri.
Yeah, very even split to this deuce court, isn't it? But then very much in favour of the backhand side on the ad court.
Jaziri trying to do it. And Agassi, he used to be halfway, but up the court, attempting the service returns. Some great nights here in Dubai with Andre playing.
Oh, I thought that was in.
Well, now what's happened is that the line judge called fault then said correction, and Jaziri's challenged the correction.
And he's right. Oh, that's a scorcher. Well, it paid off the fact that he's been trying to be aggressive on the return of serve, and despite the fact he mistimed a couple on this side, it's paid off on this one. You can see here body weight going diagonally across the court to cut the angle. Well, we weren't too impressed with his first attempt at the drop shot, but this time paid off. Got it right this time. And just the forward and back motion of Roger Federer. Slightly unsettled in for the volley, so in a spot of bother once again here on serve. Oh, you sort of expect that, don't you, from Roger Federer?
Ace number 7. Blistering forehand from Jaziri, and he has break point. And his conversion rate at the moment is 1 of 1. Certainly didn't hold back.
No, and he shouldn't either. I mean, this is a 1 in a million chance, isn't it? And he's nicely poised in this match right now, so he can just keep on being aggressive and really going for it. Trying to create opportunities for himself out here.
So Federer it is who comes through the first real test of this final set. He'll be relieved to hold from breakpoint down, 2-1. Well, Annabelle, we knew that Jaziri could play because he got up to 69 in the world last year. But I must confess, I was really worried for him because I thought, well, hang on, he hasn't played a competitive match since October. He's got this heavy strapping on the injured knee, and yet he's held his own with Federer out here.
Yeah, actually, I'd forgotten that he hadn't played a match since October, which is a lot of time not to have played a match. You think he'd be really rusty out here, a little bit kind of, you know, nervous, apprehensive, and the minute you're sort of a little bit negative on a court against Roger, he's going to pounce on you. But not a bit of it. You really wouldn't have a clue. He's come out here really with great game plan, good tactics, served well, lived and held his own out here. It's been really great to see, really fun, and a, you know, very calm disposition. Doesn't look overexcited either.
People outside enjoying the coverage on the Giants screen. I'm sure they'll be impressed by Malik Jaziri serving at 1-2 final set.
Well, that's forehand is starting to be something to be feared. Such a heavy blow coming out of those strings. Well, that was quite a risk, wasn't it, from Jaziri trying to run around that backhand corner. He was pushed deep into that corner. If he hadn't done something decent with that forehand, he could have been in all sorts of trouble. That was really wild. Don't see that very often.
It's almost as if the pressure is getting to Federer at the moment rather than Jaziri. Jaziri hasn't lost a point on serve yet in this set.
14-15.
I think Federer would be the first to admit that didn't exactly middle that service return. It just created an extraordinary angle.
Well, they're really hammering each other from the back of the court now. Probably nearly made that as well. Changed the direction of the ball there. Can't get over the pace of this match. 1 hour 17. Middle of the third set. It's quite pacey, isn't it?
It certainly is. The guys are really getting on with it. Rallies are pretty short. 2-all.
So this is where he's going to be dangerous, because if he's just going to keep on swinging, which is what he's got to do.
It's a challenge here on Federer's baseline. And a good one.
Well, he thinks he's won the point.
I think he should have won the point. I don't think Federer would have got that back. It's tough to argue that he was affected by the call. But there we go. Big difference between 15 love and love 15.
I think he has every right to be a bit miffed after that, because he took a chance on it, swung, made it. Should have been love 15. Trying to do the same thing again there.
A bit surprised that Roger's feeding the forehand with the serve.
Well, I always remember Boris Becker saying if he really wanted to break down an opponent mentally out there, you'd serve big points to their strengths, and if you can win those, you've broken them. Broken their spirit.
There's just one word in there that worries me. If.
If.
Oh, that's a cheeky one. And it is a love service game for Federer, his 5th of the match. And he needs 3-2 final set. Really being tested out here. Saving that break point in his previous service game. Federer with delightful touch that time around. Simple service action, Federer, that Federer was talking about.
Well, that was such great disguise on that drop shot, wasn't it? Because you thought he was just going to chip and charge and play one of those very fluid sort of approach shot to the net, set himself up for the volley, but changed it up. Great disguise.
No breaks in this final set so far.
It's the second time that's happened. Lost control of the returner's serve, nearly taken out the umpire and the ball kids.
Love
Now then. First time Federer's had a love 15 on Jaziri's serve. That's what our excellent cameramen see in their viewfinders. Bringing you coverage of the match, which goes all around the world. Danger signals here for Jaziri at love 30.
Great movement there from Federer, wasn't it? Great sort of adjustment at the back of the court. Had to really react quickly to what was going on back there. Oh.
La Putti.
I thought that was it.
I was going to say, considered the first break of serve of the match with a double. This is going to be a little close. He did make it.
think you can always tell with Roger whether he thinks the ball's in or out, because he kind of hovers over towards the side if he's going to have to replay the point again.
Wasn't there for Federer in his expression? The ball got up a little higher than he was anticipating, I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he doesn't normally let out too much emotion, but you could sense the disappointment after that one. Only because he knows his opponent has a pretty beefy first serve.
Another challenge. This one I think the centre service judge got right.
Yeah, it felt wide, didn't it? Oh, he's right again.
Oh, well, back to the opticians for me.
Yeah, and me.
There is the break, and that you suspect will be the decisive moment of the match. But remember, Federer's had to save a break point in this final set, so it ain't over yet.
Definitely not. No, it's been highly competitive, very interesting, and anytime you watch a tennis match, you want to watch it sort of not knowing exactly what the outcome might be. We assumed that Federer would come through this, but it's certainly not been an easy ride.
Clear from here.
The forehand was rather spluttering in the first set, but with one or two exceptions, it's flowing now.
Legs to service.
The points flowing for Federer now, his 9th ace. Big that 10, Federer is 5-2 up in the final set.
Well, some brilliant serving there from Roger Federer, really sort of carrying on as he means to try to close out this final set. Then it's been far from straightforward, even though on paper it might look like a fairly straightforward scoreline, having dropped that opening set by 7-5. But you know, not so long ago was facing break points early on in this final set, and you must have thought that his opponent would have just been perhaps wavering as to whether this might be an opportunity to take out a Grand Slam champion of the caliber of Roger Federer. But it was short-lived. Federer saved the break points, and now this man is going to come out and serve to try to stay in this tennis match.
Time.
So here he is. Serving to stay in the match then at 2-5, raring to go, waiting for Federer to take his position with new balls.
30.
Saves the one match point. Make that
30-14.
Okay, so that's it. Roger Federer has, I won't say safely made it through to the second round. I'm sure there's a slight sigh of relief for him there, having dropped that opening set by 7 games to 5. But I have to say that his opponent, Jaziri, really didn't disgrace himself out here, really put up a terrific contest. But it's Roger Federer who goes through by 6 games to 2 in the final set. So he's going to do his customary throwing wristbands out to the audience. And let's take a look at the stats for this match then. It only took an hour and a half. It was a very swift and pacey match. 10 aces by Roger Federer. 3 double faults came at a fairly costly time in that opening set. Fairly low first serve percentage from both of these guys, but a real swing in balance in terms of those percentage points won on first serve. 83% for Roger Federer by the end of the match, 62 for Jaziri, and the breakpoint opportunities clearly far outweighed by Roger Federer. He created himself 11 of them and converted on 5. So it was certainly not without its problems for Roger Federer. Cruised through in most of his service games in the opening set, but all of a sudden lost his concentration around 5-all. And Jaziri really took advantage of it. So let's see where Roger Federer stands in the draw. Of course, he's the number 2 seed. He's down the bottom end of the draw, and he'll await the winner of the all-Spanish clash between Marcel Granollers and Albert Montañez. And lurking there in that next section up, Hanescu against Tomic. Tomic, of course, had a win against Novak Djokovic earlier this year in the Hopman Cup. A winner also in Sydney. And then Janko Tipsarevic, dangerous player on the tour, number 6 seed, will take the court against the Russian Nikolai Davydenko.